the editing and then the book design, and looking at it from five different angles, um, was really interesting.
Was there ever a moment in the process where you're like, nah, forget it, not doing this?
No, there wasn't. Um, I would say it was more of like surrendering, almost like, yeah, whatever, just change it. All right, I'm done. That type of thing sometimes, because it was just you can overanalyze, and that analysis, paralysis by analysis type thing, and before long you just kind of forget what it is that you meant in the first place. So there were a couple moments like that, but for the most part, no. And actually, the some other things came from it, like adding to it, or things that I didn't remember when I originally first wrote it, and that I could add to and enhance the story and fill in the gaps. So that was good, because it taught me that even though when I'm writing, and when I think I've captured it, I haven't, and to always go back and to look at those things. So
Mm.
yeah,
Mm.
it was. I learned some tough lessons, but it was all good.
All right, that's good. Now you said something before about the message. What is the
hmm
message of the book?
Well, your typical message is, shoot for your dreams and all that stuff. But I think that's been overplayed a little bit. I think, um, for me, the message is a couple things. One, we're all crazy,
Mm.
and take comfort in that fact. Because this book is kind of like reality TV on paper, where you get a glimpse inside another family's craziness, and what they go through on a day-to-day basis as their kids try to make it in Hollywood, and then you stumble upon a couple opportunities, and so forth. So it's the craziness thing, but it's also, for me, it was finding the funny. And that's what I talk about a lot, is um, going into the day, at the beginning, because I didn't want to be in LA. I didn't want to do this trip, and so I wasn't exactly excited about being out there to begin with, and then things started happening that would really kind of annoy me, and so forth. And I was like, boy, something's got to change, or this is going to end up as like a Dateline series where the man disappears or murders his family or whatever, whatever, goes crazy. No, but and then I realized, you know what? All right, I got to start writing some of this stuff down because it's nuts. And then I started to put a funny spin on it. And what I realized through that was, I'm going to start looking for the funny things in my day instead of looking at the negative. And when I started doing that, it completely changed my perspective. So something that would happen that would normally just annoy me, all of a sudden became an opportunity to write about that would be funny.
Mm.
And so it changed my perspective and helped me, really kind of look at life in a different light. And so that's really what the book is about. And there's a lot of, I'd say it's 80% humor, but there's also a couple moments in there, like my son and I get in a car accident, and it's reflection of what could have happened. My grandmother dies during this time period, and so forth. So there's also some reflective pieces of just life, and that's where I hope the message comes across that we're all the same. We're all kind of nuts in our own way, and there's a little bit of comfort in knowing that. So
Oh, well, that's pretty interesting. It's like you took a different twist
yeah,
on
yeah,
everything that was happening and you just jotted it down. I like that. It's pretty cool.
yeah. And then the other piece of it, I would say, is what I talked about is silent dreams. And I found myself kind of being a bit of a hypocrite with the kids, and saying, you guys just got to go out there and give it a shot, and take your opportunity. But yet I never wanted to share my writing with anybody. And so I've always wanted to write. I've always wanted to publish a book, but I've never wanted to really try to do it, because I was afraid that if I failed, it would just kind of devastate this dream of being a writer. But yet I was trying to get my kids to do exactly what it is that I didn't have the guts to do in the first place. And so, I learned a lot about myself while being out there. and through writing the book.
Oh, so you had a therapeutic moment to it all.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Now, a second book in the works, it's a thought, like where are we at?
Yeah, there's a couple. There's a definite follow up, because when we were in Canada, a lot of crazy things happened up there as well, and just some things that have happened since the end of the book, because the way the book ends is kind of the will they won't they moment. Will they move out to California for good and really make a life of this, and that's what we decide to do. Um, but then the pandemic hits, and that changes everything. Hollywood shuts down, and so yeah, there's all sorts of stuff and material to talk about there. And then there's another one that I'm kind of outlining right now, um, that is more of a reflective piece. So yeah, there's a few things in the works. So excited about it.
Okay, so is it like a series, continuous, or just like different?
The one is, yeah, and then the second one is more of isn't about the acting career and things like that. It's just more of parenting lessons and so forth, and just kind of things that I've learned throughout life, and with my wife, and so forth, to kind of bring to the table.
Okay. Okay, cool. So what is one piece of advice you'd give as a father, you have a child actor, you
Mm-hmm.
did stuff acting yourself, and an author and a husband? Like what's your one advice of wisdom to the world?
Don't try to do it yourself. you know, honestly, if we were very fortunate in having the right people involved throughout this process, be it the kid's manager, to their agent, to the acting coach. I mean, there were so many things and so many pieces of the puzzle that had to come together for this to work. And my wife was the one that really put everything together and found the right pieces. And we wouldn't have been able to manage that Hollywood jungle without it. I mean, it's crazy. It is, there's so many things going on, and you don't know what you should do, what you shouldn't do, where you need to be, where you shouldn't be, all those things. So the more people you have and the right people in place, the easier it becomes. And, and then I think at the end of the day, the other piece of it was just, it's such a blessing to be able to watch your kids chase their dream, and to really get the opportunity to put their best foot forward and see what they can do. And then when they do hit, certain things, it's moments you never forget, and moments that you'll always celebrate. And like when we were in Toronto, um, my son and I were talking about the movie that he was filming, and basically he's time stamping his life, so he'll always have this moment on film. And so I kind of use that as a way to say, don't screw it up. But it's something, is especially being a Christmas movie, that he'll be able to share with his kids and his grandkids, and so on so on down the line. And so it's very fortunate, and so to take advantage of those opportunities, but remain humble, and just know that you're fortunate to have those opportunities. And then Hollywood, I would say, in general, one of the things that we instilled in the kids from the get-go is, don't put your self-worth into what others are saying. Don't put your self-worth into if you get the part or not, because it's such a game of rejection out there. I mean, you're going to get rejected 9 times out of 10. And it may be because your eyes are the wrong color, or your hair is the wrong color, or you're not tall enough, or whatever it may be. It may not have anything to do with your acting ability. So for us, that was the danger. We didn't want them to come and just have their spirits crushed. Mm-hmm. So it was very important that they stay grounded, that we stayed close as a family, and we didn't lose who we were. And so I guess that would be the biggest piece of advice: stay true to yourself.
Oh, I like that. And it's a common one that can be used for anything.
Right.
Stay true to yourself.
It's universal.
It sure is. How do you, here's this, as a dancer myself, like when I go to auditions and I get the no, I know how it feels for myself.
Mhm.
But as a parent, how does it feel for you when you take your son to his casting call or an
Mhm.
audition and he doesn't get the part? How do you feel?
Well, at first, I just make some of those casting directors and people disappear. You know, that's what you'd
There
want
you
to do,
go.
but yeah, but no, yeah, it's interesting because when you're the one that it's up to, when you're the one in the spotlight or so forth, and you're in control of it, obviously, like you said, when you go, there's still a nervousness there, but when it's out of your hands and it's your child that's doing it, the level of nerves is just multiplied, tremendously. And so, because there's nothing you can do, and so again, you celebrate the fact that they got the audition to begin with, because that in itself is an accomplishment. Much like with yourself, when you can go in for the audition and all, it's a big step. And then, if they don't get it, you move on, and you realize that you just weren't the right part. I mean, that's going to happen. But at the end of the day, what they're still gaining from this is so much more, because they're learning how to go into a room of strangers and present and market themselves. And they've got to make themselves stand out when it's 30 kids saying the exact same line, and the people behind the desk are going, "Oh Lord, do I have to listen to this one more time?" You've got to be able to grab people's attention, and that's so universally true in everything that you do in life moving forward. So appreciate the fact that you're being able to train and to do these things that will someday, all this is leading up to something for you. What that is, nobody knows, but that's the fun part, is
Mm.
finding out.
Yeah, finding out's always the fun part.
Hmm.
Oh, all right. Now, when can those that have already gotten your first book, they've
Hmm.
read it, they're antsy, when can they expect for the second one to come out?
We're looking at the same time next year, so June of 2022 is what we're shooting for.
That's like around the corner.
I know, coming up fast.
It is.
Coming up fast, but it's amazing how fast life goes. My daughter, who's going to be 17 in a few weeks, driving and boys and all this stuff now, and before it was just no interest in any of that stuff. So yeah, it changes in a blink of an eye. But the nice thing I have with her is or that my wife and I have with her is she was in the second season of You on Netflix and played a killer. So we just show those episodes to some of the boys, and scares them a little. So
This might have been a role, but let's see what
exactly,
she really knows from it.
exactly. She looks kind of natural doing that, doesn't she? Yeah.
That's a funny one.
Yeah.
So let us know, where can we find the book? Where can your now newly fans reach out to you?
Yeah, you bet. It's on really anywhere you would find online materials. So Amazon, with Kindle, and it's actually available on Kindle Unlimited for free right now. So if they subscribe to that, then they can get it there. But Barnes and Noble, Goodreads, all the online stores, you can download it there. And then there's a website, untiltomorrowlp.com, and you can order it from that. But that also has a lot of the behind the scenes video from the trip, the pictures from the trip that go along with the book, and all my contact information's on that. So it's untiltomorrowlp.com.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. Well, thanks, Matt, for coming on. I wish you and your kids the best of luck.
Well, thank you.
Now I'd be like, oh, well, I've officially talked to a working actor and his
There you
children.
go.
So there you go. We're
Well,
best
thank you
friends,
very much. It was a pleasure being on here, and best of luck to you moving forward as well.
Thanks. Ooh, that was fun. I'm pretty sure Matt is the first actor that we've spoken to. We've had musicians, we've had authors, we've had some dream readers, no actors or actresses. Huh. gives me a couple of ideas for